2 minus 4. There you go.
Right there. Okay? Your y coordinate is negative 11. Your x coordinate is negative 1. This is what we know. We have a parabola. It opens up. The center of it is to the left of the y-axis. And the bottom of it is in what quadrant? First, second, third, or fourth quadrant? Third quadrant. Way down low in the third quadrant. Right? Okay, now what we got to figure out is how fat is this thing? Is it a parabola that opens up really big? Or is it skinny? All right, so how are we going to figure that out? We're going to find the y-intercept.
This is just for one problem?
This is just for one problem. Now, this is a lot of words and information, but when you go to do it, it's quick. Okay, but I want to make sure you understand. Your y-intercept, okay, if you have a point on the y-axis, what's x? 0. So we find the y-intercept by setting x equal to 0. But I'm going to show you something because there's no calculating here either.
We already found
No, we found the y-coordinate of the vertex. Now we're looking where the y crosses the y-axis, or where this thing crosses the y-axis. Okay, I want you to look at something real quick. If I set x equal to 0 here, what happens? And what happens here? And is that always going to happen? Yes. It's just going to get rid of all the terms that have an x in it. So there's no calculating here either. You remember in the equation of a line, y equals mx plus b, the constant was always our y-intercept? Same thing here. Your constant is your y-intercept, negative 9. All right, so let's put all this together.
So you would start at -1, -9.
I'm going to show you. Okay? This is what we just figured out. By simply looking at the sign of this term, we figured out it opens up. We found the axis of symmetry using the equation x equals negative b over 2a. Since we knew x was 1, negative 1, I plugged negative 1 into there to figure out what y is, and I found the vertex. And then I find the y-intercept by simply looking at the constant. Okay, so let's graph this. You're going to start with your axis of symmetry. That's the first thing you start with. Represented by a broken line. Our axis of symmetry was a vertical line at x equals negative 1. Then you're going to find your vertex. You're going to go plot it. Okay? Our vertex was way down in the third quadrant at negative 1, negative 11. Here's my vertex, and I'm going to label it. I'm going to pick this up because y'all don't need to see way up there. Okay? My y-intercept was at negative 9, which is right here. All right? Now, you brought up the absolute value, the v. If you remember, we had an axis of symmetry in the v also, and we said whatever happened on one side of that line, it's a mirror image on the other side, right? So if on this horizontal line here, I've got a point on my parabola 1 unit on the right side of my axis, won't I have a point 1 unit on the left side of my axis?
Yes.
Yes, because it's the center and everything's the same. It like folds open and it's exactly the same. Okay? And so now I know 3 points on this parabola, and it's a U, not a V. And so I'm going to draw it.
But how do you continue?
Right now, this is all I'm looking for.
How did you figure out if it was fat or skinny?
Based on where you're crossing the y-axis. Okay? Based on where you're crossing the y-axis. Now, we're going to get more detail tomorrow when we look for the x-intercepts. because now we'll know where it crosses the x-axis, and we'll have more points to be able to graph it. But for now, this is all we're looking at. Okay, new one. Let's do everything we just did. You can see how fast it goes. These are the 4 things you need to ask yourself tonight on your homework when you're graphing your parabolas. F of x equals x squared minus 8x plus 9. I think I took down the link to the graph paper online. I'll have to put it back up so you can just print out some graph paper if you need it. Does this open up or down?
Down.
Up. We look at the sign of the x squared term. It's positive. It opens up. How do we find the axis of symmetry? X equals negative b over 2a.
What else do you find with that?
With this, the x-coordinate of your vertex. The axis of symmetry and the x-coordinate of your vertex are the same thing. Okay? All right, so what is b?
8.
No.
Negative 8.
It's negative 8. B is negative 8. So the negative of negative 8 is positive 8. Over 2 times, what is the coefficient of your x squared term understood to be? 1. Over 2 times 1. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 4. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so I have a parabola opening up, shifted to the right of the y-axis. Yes?
A is 1.
A is understood to be 1. If there's no number in front of a variable, it's understood to be 1.
What do you do with the A?
You leave it. You leave it. Okay, God bless you. All right, the vertex. We already know the x-coordinate of the vertex. What do I do to find the y-coordinate? Plug it in. Okay? So it's 1 times 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 9. That's 16 minus 32 plus 9. What's 16 minus? Very good. It's negative 7. 16 minus 32 is negative 16, and negative 16 plus 9 is negative 7. Then I need to find where it crosses the y-axis. Where's the y-intercept? Very simple. All you got to do is look. 9. It crosses the y-axis at 9. To be more specific, 0, 9. See how quick that was? Yes, Nick.
That's always going to be
What's always going to be what?
the y-intercept.
That last term, the constant term, is always your y-intercept. Yes.
So what are the answers? All those 4?
Yes, well, now, no, the final answer is the graph. You have to find this stuff out so you can draw the picture. Yes.
So you would start at 4, negative 7.
You start with the y-axis. I mean the axis of symmetry. Just like the order here. You know it's opening up. So this is just a check. When you're finished drawing your graph, if you have an arrow pointing up and your graph is pointing down, something went wrong somewhere. Okay? But you start with your axis of symmetry, then you put your vertex, then you put your y-intercept, and you go find that mirrored point on the other side. Then you connect the dots. Annalise. Okay? Are you with me up to this point? Okay. 16 minus 32 is negative 16. And negative 16 plus 9 is negative 7. Okay? All right. So this is what we have.